thankful for the Red Brick Church because my family and I have made so many friends since we've started attending a couple years ago. We've just been blessed by the Christian friendships that we've found here. When we first started coming, my oldest son Nathan was a little hesitant. He was really missing his friends from our previous church, and we just prayed, that we were doing the right thing. We wanted to find a local church, and we just stuck with it. And now Nathan has met some of his best buddies here. And so is Noah, right? So we're just blessed by the friendships, and we just look forward to more times of fellowship here at the Red Brick Church.
Occasionally, one of our younger families in church will say, "How long have you folks been in church?" And I generally will respond by saying, "Almost forever." And I can say that because when I was 11 years old, my folks transplanted our family from Rockford City Life to the farm out here. And when I got acquainted with girls in school and so forth, that fall, one of my classmates invited us to come to Sunday school. So my brother and I came to Sunday school here, and soon after that my parents became part of this church family too. So this has been my church home for a long time, and over 50 years ago we were married here, and so that's why I can say almost forever. We've been blessed to be part of this church family.
Well, shortly after we were married, I had just returned from military service, and so I joined the church with her. And I got quickly involved. Her father got me involved in what was then called the Ever Member Canvas at the end of the year. And that just started my involvement in the church. We were blessed to have two mature couples who actually at different times led our young married Sunday school class, and they just really gave us a deep feeling for the Christian faith and what it was all about. We had a young pastor that came sometime after that, and he got involved in getting this church to get out of the United Church of Christ conference and become an independent Bible-believing church, and that was a great move. Our plans for the future, goodness, for us, hopefully the Lord will give us more years so we can serve together. And I pray that this church will continue to be a Bible-preaching, loving community church.
My memories of this beautiful church are growing up in a very loving and supporting church family. I always enjoyed the family potlucks and fellowship gatherings between church services. It was a great chance to visit and to get acquainted with our new members of the church. One of my fondest memories was the opportunity I had to teach Bible stories and songs to the 5-year-old Sunday school class. I will never forget that time.
I'm thankful for the cross, for Jesus Christ, and my relationship that I have with him. I'm also thankful for my husband, who has been by me to support me all these years, and also for my 2 kids that God has put in my life to teach me patience, unconditional love, and just to be there for them. And also for my Sunday school kids, my little preschoolers who God has called me to teach. And my goal for them is to have them have a relationship with Christ the way I do, and to know that he loves them unconditionally.
Hi, I'm Sandy, and I just wanted to say that I'm thankful for my church because it's biblically based, and all the members of this church are like my family. And one thing that I am really excited about the future is the mission possibilities that we have for our community and for other parts of the world.
I'm Casey, and I'm just there for the Sunday school, what they what they teach the kids during there. And I'm thankful that we were about to celebrate 150 years of this church.
I'm Millie McCoy, and I've been coming to this church for several years. There was a few times that Grady and I left to go to larger churches in Rockford, and we always ended up coming back, and we're so happy we did. And I really enjoy seeing all the young families coming to church now and getting involved in different organizations, and it's just a real joy to see our church growing, and not only in number but spiritually too. And I also enjoy working on the deaconess board and the interaction that I have with different people on that board. So all in all, I just think it's a great place to worship. Thank you.
I'm thankful for the grown-ups in my church because they're really nice to me. And for an example, Mr. McCoy taught me how to make sausage gravy.
I'm thankful for Miss Deb that she taught me about Jesus.
I'm thankful for a pastor who preaches from the Bible. He helps everyone to learn. I'm thankful also for my church family who holds me up in prayer.
We had gone to a Christian church in Dixon, and when we moved to Byron, we were looking for a church with similar values. And we picked up the phone and gave Jan a call, and she set up a time with Chris. And we came over and sat down and had quite a talk with him and told him what we were looking for, and he basically told us what the church had to offer. And we were just looking for a Bible-based church, a church that had a friendly congregation, a church that when the minister gave his sermon, you got a sermon from the Bible, not a watered-down, politically correct sermon that you hear so often today. That we felt the first time over here, the congregation was friendly, and Pastor Chris delivers a great message and puts himself into it a lot, which means a lot. He adds a lot of humor to his sermon, and you got to have a little humor in life. But do you want to?
This is a very friendly, open church. It's Christian-based. Please join us. We would enjoy seeing you on Sundays.
Hi, I'm Eileen Gates. I have been coming to this church for 10 years now. What first brought me to this church is the day we came, my daughter, who's now 12, was 2.5 then. And we brought her into the church with us, and we sat her with us, my husband and I, and she was being very good. And after the sermon was all over with, the pastor's wife, who was Linda then, came up to us and said, "You never have to worry about bringing your children into the service because Rod, my husband, can preach louder than they can cry." So right then we knew we were at home. We knew this was going to be our home church. It was very family orientated. My favorite memory about this church is learning about Awana. I did not grow up with Awana. There was no Awana in the town I grew up in. And so I learned all about it here, and now I'm pretty active in Awana. I help with the Sparks, which is kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade, and usually I have about 100, 125 kids on Wednesday nights here. So I think the thing I'm most looking forward to in the future in this church is having a larger gymnasium or running area for the Awana kids. It gets a little packed in there on Wednesday nights with that many children running around and playing games. And one of my favorite memories too about Awana is a little boy one time asked me what games had to do with Jesus. And I told him that Jesus wants us to be with our fellow Christians and have worship with them, but also he wants us to get together and gather and be social with them too. So those are my memories.
I've been coming here since I was a little girl. Came here with my parents when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I've been here most of my life, but probably some of the high points for me are the fact that I met my husband here. I was baptized in this church. My daughters have been, and I love the fact that our church is committed to teaching and preaching the Bible, that we believe that it's adequate for our life and that we stand for that. That's probably one of the most meaningful things to me here. The second most meaningful thing would be the fact that we have such a close-knit family in our church, and I always know that when we need something, that we're here for each other. And I've been so appreciative of that many times in my life, and I look forward to what we can do in the future as a family reaching out to other people.
I think one of the things I like most about the church is it's like when you walk in and everyone's happy to see you and people come up and give you handshakes and say hi and ask you how you've been. And I think that's one of the most things I like about the church is that it just has a welcome atmosphere, and it feels like people are happy here, that you're here and happy to see you. So I think that's one of the most things that's most important to me about this church.
I like this church because I know a lot of people here, and when I was in the hospital, they always sent me cards and stuff and cookies.
That's little goodies, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like being home, like you're with your family when you're here.
Hello, my name is Pete Masnick. I was invited to this church by a good friend of mine, Rita Bosey, about 9 years ago. And I came to this church and immediately felt comfortable. I was saved. It was a monumental point in my life. I became a member. I was baptized. I currently serve as a deacon, serve as a Sunday school leader, and work with the youth in Awana. And I just am very excited about the future of this church and extremely blessed with the past experiences that I've had at this church. I have 2 younger children, Jesse and Emma, who have grown up in this church, and I just very thankful for what the Lord's done in my life, and it all has really culminated from my experiences at this church in the last 8 years of my life.
Hi, I'm Jesse Masnick, and I am 15 years old, and I'm a member of the Red Brick Church. The Red Brick Church is a good place to grow up and feels like home to me, and just Pastor Chris is a just really nice guy, and everybody here is so happy to see you every day, and just very welcoming. I help out with Sunday school and the Awana's Children program, and just I feel so happy to help out here and see all the little kids coming to Sunday school and learning about Jesus, and it's a really cool place to be, and I'm happy to grow up here in Stillman Valley, and I'm very thankful for the Red Brick Church.
Hi there, I'm Brian Bosecker, and just to give you a little bit of a history about me, I started attending the Congregational Christian Church, or as we all know it as the Red Brick Church, about 45 years ago during my mom's pregnancy with me, and then made a personal appearance after August 24th, 1963, and then at that point I accepted Christ into my heart as my personal Savior on March 8th of 1972 with my aunt, Cheryl Johan. And from there, I then became a member of the church in the summer of 1977 when we graduated from confirmation. And once you graduate from confirmation, you were also included as a member of the church. And so at that point, is when I became a member of the church, and I've been active with Sunday school and working with the youth group, Awanas, and other various committees with the church. And one of the things I remember the most and have enjoyed the most is just the fellowship with fellow members and Christians at outings, and the only thing that can make something like that better is when you can have fellowship with fellow Christians and outings and have food. And when you got me, I like visiting and I like eating, and so that's one thing I do remember is with our church potlucks and picnics, the food we have has always been terrific, and the memories of certain people bringing certain items will always be with me and cherished. And just for instance, one that I always will remember is ever since I was probably 5 or 6 years old, is Bernice Cruz always bringing her peanut butter squares, peanut butter bars, and they were just the best. And I made mention to her one time about it, and for the next 40 years I never went without a potluck without having Bernice's peanut butter bars. And once again, it's just been a great experience, and something I'll never forget and look forward to in the future is just the fellowship with fellow Christians, and then of course top it off with some food, and that'll make it good for me. So thank you.
I'm most thankful for Pastor Chris for leading us to this church, and when we really needed it in our lives. And I'm also very thankful for the church family for making us feel so welcome here.
And we're also thankful that this church is dedicated to the teachings of the scriptures because it helps us in our daily lives.
Hi, my name's Tom Italis. I came to the Red Brick Church several years ago. Actually, I was invited by some other people, and when I walked in the door for the very first time, I had never felt the presence of God like I did when I walked in the doors here. I felt like I'd gotten home after a very long, hard journey. My family and I have been coming here for about 4 or 5 years now. We are actually very excited about the future of children's ministry in this church. We have a wonderful Awana program here, and the outreach to the community of the young people here is a great ministry, and we are very excited about reaching out to those children.
John and Sandra Stout, we started attending Stone Valley Community Church because it reminded us of the churches that we grew up in Southern Ohio. What we think will happen in the future of this church is that because it has become such a part of the community, we can see that there are plans in place that will take us to the next, hopefully, another 150 years. And one of the things that we remember as a fond memory is that our children were picked up by the wagon for Vacation Bible School, and they also learned about Christ's message through the work of this church. So it's become a part of our family.
Hi, we're the Morozics. I'm Ken, and this is Kathy.
I'm Brianna.
Go ahead, Jake.
I'm Jacob. I'm Brianna.
We came to this church about a year ago. We were moved into the area, and we were searching for churches. We stopped by several, and when we first came into this church, we knew this was the church for us. The first thing I liked was the message that was told at the services. I think Pastor Chris does a really excellent job of taking the Bible and explaining it in a way that's meaningful to us today.
I particularly like the fellowship that we've created with all the families here. It's an incredible group of families and individuals here that just love God, and it just shows, and it's a wonderful place to be involved in. We particularly knew that this was our home, and this is going to be our new church family when the kids on the way home from Sunday school about 2 months into it said that they wished it was Sunday every day because they wanted to be at Sunday school every day. And so that's when we knew this was it for us. Do you want something?
I like this church because all my friends are here, and I just like the Sunday school, and on Wednesdays I just like the Awanas we do, and my parents help out for games.
I like this church because I have lots of friends here, and I like to go to Sunday school, and I like that people, even little kids, get to go to Sunday school, kind of. And I like the Awanas too.
Hello, I'm Stanton Lewis. This is my wife Cheryl, and we've been attending this church for about 8 years. I grew up though in this church, and this church has gone through some wonderful changes. And it's the type of church where anybody can come and feel comfortable and feel at home and enjoy. 8 years ago, I think one of the things that drew us to this church was the special music. They do a great job with their worship team. And since then, it's only continued to get better with Pastor Chris. And had the opportunity to be involved in different things, and it's been a neat experience, one that's been life-changing.
It's a great church, a wonderful community, family-oriented church, and I've been involved in Awanas and the Vacation Bible School. The kids are great. They come from all over, many communities around our church, and it's just fabulous to see the excitement. And we have a great time meeting all the new people that come to our church. And it's wonderful because actually Stanton's father is now the oldest living member of our church. So it's been really fun being with our family.
One special memory I have of Congregational Church is, well, I was raised in a Baptist background. And one summer, about the mid-'60s, I had come down here for a Vacation Bible School. And during the Bible school, a friend of mine and I were leaning over the table, and a kid across the table reached out and clanked our heads together. And I wound up getting a black eye out of it. So when my friends were asking me, what happened to you? I was like, well, I got a black eye down at the Congregational Church. And I only imagined that parents, you know, saying you better behave or I'm going to take you down to the Congregational Church. You're going to get what Ricky Dial got. But I really, other than that, like I said, was raised in other churches, but the time that we've been here in the last few years have been really special. And there's a lot of good people here, and you can feel the spirit at work. So I'm very happy to be here.
My name is Donna Dial, and my maiden name was Heibarger. And I started attending this church when I was 10 years old. And I remember helping my mother with one of her duties as a deaconess. And I got the privilege of going around to all the pews and picking up the communion cups, taking them downstairs and help her wash and dry them. And it was interesting. I had been involved in Sunday school and helped in the nursery when I got older, and also did Vacation Bible School. And I also sang in the choir with my mom. This church has a lot of good memories for me. And we got married in this church many years ago. And we moved and began attending and joining a church in our own community. And then the last few years we came back, moved back to Stillman, and have been attending ever since. And we just really enjoy Pastor Chris and his ministry and the ministry of this church. And if you're looking for a church that preaches the Word of God, you'll find it here.
Hi, we're the Andersons. I am Amanda, and this is my husband David, and Hannah and Jonah. We really love our church. We feel very blessed to be here. I had a friend invite me to Bible study, and we just came, and we've just been so happy here.
Myself, when I was younger, I attended a Baptist church, and the one thing that I loved about that church is I remember hearing pastors speak directly from the Bible. And the previous church that we were at, we didn't feel like we were getting that. And so, like Mandy said, she came to a Bible study, and she suggested one week that we check out the Red Brick Church. And so we did, and we came and we heard Pastor Chris speak, and his sermon that morning just really knocked our socks off. And ever since, we've just come to love this church family. And that's one of the biggest draws about this church, I believe, is they focus so much on family and children. And all of our kids are in the Awanas program. You like Awanas?
Yeah.
Yeah. They love the Awanas program, and obviously a church's future is based on the young children. So That's one of the biggest draws, I believe, of this church is they're so family oriented.
And they
We're
treat-
so family oriented.
And they treat you like family. You walk in the door and you're greeted like you've always been here. It really is a blessing to us, to all of us. We've all grown. Our entire family has grown because of this church.
I'm Sherry Pierce, and I'm so happy to be a part of this church family. The prayer support has just been phenomenal for my health condition and the things that have been going on in my life, and I'm just so happy to be here.
Hi, my name is Brooke Adams. My parents are Deb and Bruce Bonney, and I have been going to this church since I was born. My grandma went to the church, and my mom went to this church. It's the church I was baptized in, and the church I was confirmed in, and also the church I was married in. What am I thankful for? I'm thankful for being raised in a Christian family. I'm thankful for our church members who have been with this church through thick and thin. I'm thankful for all the Sunday school teachers and Awanas teachers and Bible school teachers that I've had and that touch children's lives every day. I was asked to speak about a special memory from our church, and one that comes to mind is having Marge Carmichael as my Sunday school teacher. Marge taught us the books of the Bible and a song, and I still use that song today to remember the books of the Old Testament, and so I'm thankful for Marge. Another memory of mine is the Easter and Christmas cantatas that we had, and all of the hard work and hours that Barb Werkel would put into the cantatas. I remember Tracy Brown and I were angels many times at Christmas, and we loved dressing up in the outfits and getting to sing. And even one year for Easter, she somehow recruited my dad, who does not appreciate being in front of crowds or anything, and Dad was actually Jesus. And it was kind of a funny story. He didn't have any sandals to wear to be Jesus, so we had to go borrow some Jesus sandals from a neighbor. So those are the things.